First, suffering to be recognized, and second is cause of suffering. Third is suffering can be ceased or cured. Let's say purified, the cause of the suffering, as well as suffering itself can be ceased. And finally, the path. And as we often hear that these Four Noble Truths exemplified as a doctor, like Buddha himself, and then even though doctor is very skilled, very learned, very experienced, there's no way doctor can cure anyone's sickness, but he has to recognize what is the illness or suffering that the individual or patients have. And once doctor recognizes that suffering or the, the illness that patients going through, and then doctor finds out if or describe to the patients that this suffering can be, this illness can be cured, and then doctor, of course, show or let's say a doctor go through procedures or whatever method or medicine or such. So this is all simply because, once again, as that, like Buddha himself, every one of us have this potential and essence and the Buddha nature. And that's why it's so hopeful. If there's no Buddha nature, and then it's extremely hard. Whatever we practice and austerity, go through difficulties, it's kind of a waste of time. And then of course, the emptiness teachings taught primarily in the second well of Dharma, which is once again, Buddha was 36 years of age when he became enlightened. He also taught the Prajna Paramita teachings on the, as we say, virtual peak, where in India, and so he taught all those emptiness teachings, Prajna Paramita. And this is Prajna Paramita teaching, as we call emptiness, and in Sanskrit, shunyata, and emptiness. People say, I feel very empty, but they don't have ness. They're just empty, feel very empty, sad, but doesn't have ness. So tong ni in Tibetan, tong means empty, but empty is not just empty, like nothingness, but it has the richness. That's why the wisdom comes, known as ni, tong ni. Ni is the essence. And this is extremely important for practitioners. Of course, later I will talk about it, because when we practice meditation of emptiness and we feel sense of solidity, sense of concrete about our own perception and thoughts, and we feel so suffering, it feels very much bothered, feels very concrete, and then we try to meditate on emptiness, constantly reminding oneself that these feelings, these emotions basically they are empty, there's nothing there. And we try to be transparent, try to penetrate that concreteness and that solidity by using emptiness. Everything is empty. What you what's the worry about? But if an individual doesn't really know the quality of emptiness, simply trying to be transparent of your, or let's say, trying to transparent, trying to, flexible with your emotions, trying to meditate on emptiness, and then there's, sometimes practitioners experience that, oh, of course, I feel a sense of emptiness, and then you feel that maybe there's no cause and conditions as well, because everything is emptiness. And instead of having that richness of your mind, satisfaction, you feel bothered by that emptiness, because this emptiness is very kind of a sense of coldness. It doesn't have a very warmth. So that's why meditators, when we practice emptiness, naturally must recognize that these concrete emotion that you experience purposely or doesn't have to destroy it. Rather, recognize that these feelings of concreteness or emotions are always empty, yet richness of wisdom. So then you have a sense of richness. So rather than having this very lonely emptiness. So Buddha taught the Prajnaparamita teachings, known as Tombanye, the second way of Dharma, known as the Karpapa Tsingyime Pichunko, the second way of Dharma, is beyond definition, the will of Dharma. And there are 12 volumes. There's a extensive form of Prajnaparamita Sutras, and an intermediate form of Prajnaparamita, and then deviated to the summarized form of Prajnaparamita. Of course, the Prajnaparamita is vast, and someone myself, very limited knowledge, cannot apprehend, cannot explain within 1 hour. Therefore, let's try to summarize. So the extensive teaching of Prajnaparamita is 12 volumes, and each it's alphabetically, treated alphabetica, etc. And so it's basically concerned about the emptiness, and it has many aspects of emptiness, etc. And the outer emptiness, inner emptiness, then emptiness of emptiness, and there are like 18 different emptiness aspects, and each of them have a long description, basically concerned with the outer environment, and then our own physical environment, and then our mind, and then non-conceptual mind, etc. And then the intermediate form of Buddha's teaching, Prajnaparamita, has 3 volumes. And then the abbreviated form is 1 volume. So known as 16 volumes of the Prajnaparamita, and we call the Mother Sutra. And also the Prajnaparamita known as Mother, because of the emptiness and the Prajnaparamita, and all these Buddhas, Bodhisattvas were born from this realization of emptiness. And then Buddha turned the third way of Dharma, which was in in Tibetan Yambachin, the city of Vaishali, near Bihar. And so the third well of Dharma was taught by Buddha before he passed away. So he turned the well of Dharma, basically concerned about Buddha nature. Everyone has Buddha nature. And the Buddha nature is pervaded to all sentient beings, Sugata, Garba. And then the Prajna Paramita the summarized, the 16 different volumes summarized into, as we all know, that the Heart Sutra. The Heart Sutra is extremely important. This is practiced and studied by all the Buddhism. If you look at the Chinese Buddhism, or if you look at Theravada, all of this different form of Buddhism, they all emphasize. If you go to Bodhi Gaya, everybody is chanting the Heart Sutra, and Heart Sutra is the quintessence of all those 16 volumes of Prajna Paramita. And because our topic is emptiness, therefore Prajna Paramita is mainly mentioned. And then essence of that Heart Sutra is the mantra Tiya Tha Angati Ngati Parangati Parasangati Bodhi Soha. And after Buddha passed away, and then there was two different way of different methods to adopted Buddha's teaching, known as the direct presented essential meaning of emptiness, directly, clearly presented by the great master Nagarjuna and his followers. Nagarjuna was prophesied by Buddhas in sutras that, after 300 years of my passing nirvana, there will be a master known as, start with Lu, means Nagarjuna, who are going to basically, hold my essential teachings, especially the line role of emptiness. Another way of saying that he will extensively spread the teaching of emptiness. And so that's known as the direct presented essential meaning of emptiness. And Nagarjuna's work was very, he composed 6 different commentaries on this emptiness. And he's the famous, the Madhyamika, the commentary known as Umatsawa Shirap Madhyamika Karika by Nagarjuna. And I know that later on, when I finish teaching, that I have to kind of recommend what kind of books you should read. And, I'm not that much reader in English, so I'm afraid that I could say a lot of things, books about it. So, if I might simply say, if you are, I'm pretty sure the Nagarjuna's root text of the Madhyamika must, translated, and that is extremely important. When I was in Dharma school, and I get the opportunity to study the Mipham Rinpoche's presentation on Madhyamika, known as the ornament of Madhyamika, and also Chandakriti's commentary on Madhyamika. Madhyamika basically means that Uma sounds like it's in the middle. It's not like extreme, not like a nihilism or such, but it's in the middle. But description about Madhyamika is beyond any extreme. There's no such thing remain in the middle. There's no such thing middle path or something exists. Why they say middle? It's simply because it's essential of the emptiness can be realized. That's why it's called middle. There's no a concrete middle somewhere you stuck. So that is, you know, the the director presented essential meaning of emptiness. And then there's another form of paramita. It's known as ornament of realization, Abhisamaya Alamkara by Mathiya Abhisamaya, Alamkara. So Mathiya Buddha. And Mathiya Buddha teachings is mostly concerned about the 5 paths and 5 paths and 10 movements, and it is known as the hidden meaning of the paramita. So it is not so intensively, so clearly, so directly explained as Nagarjuna, unlike Nagarjuna. So it's a kind of a hidden meaning of the paramita described in about concern about the 5 paths and 10 movements. And then the essence of the Heart Sutra, and within Heart Sutra, known as the 4 different, 4 way of explanation on emptiness. As you all are aware, zo tomba wo tomba ni zo so zo le tomba ni yin mai tomba ni le zo yin mai no means the form is emptiness. The form is emptiness. Whether this is the form that we normally see or we have physically, and we feel so concrete, we feel so real, essentially emptiness. Excuse me. The form is emptiness. Not only the solid form that we touch and we experience, but also the form that we appear in our eyes, whether it's actual or in the dreams. Everything is in essentially emptiness. The form is emptiness. So this is kind of very well-known Tibetan teachings. Let's say that among the commentaries, Tony Yijur means the 4 types of emptiness within the Heart Sutra, the 4 important points. Then Zo Tomba, Tomba Nye Zoso, and it says, yet emptiness emptiness is form. There's no other, there's emptiness is manifest as a form. Because it is emptiness, that's why it appears as a form and a reflection of emptiness. So that is true. So tomba ni zole tomba ni yimai means the emptiness is no other than form. And then the form is not other than emptiness. So that's why sometimes as a meditator, you don't have to worry too much about analytical meditation, because we just always try to go outside of our body and try to see something, analyze such. Rather, I remember one time his sons come up and mentioned that when you do meditation, at the beginning, you kind of research all kind of things, trying to look out, but then it always comes to you, your natural. So which means the emptiness is form. Form is emptiness, which means the meditation is within your own form, because your own form is emptiness. Your own emptiness is form. So these 4 different methods that taught in Heart Sutra as the essence of the Heart Sutra. Basically, these 4 different methods is the quintessence of description on Nagarjuna's texts, known as the direct, presented, and essential meaning of emptiness. And then, as I mentioned earlier, there's the hidden meaning, and not really directly mentioned about the 10 bhumins or such. That is intensively described by Matya Buddha and followed by Asanga, and all of his teachings summarized in this mantra in Heart Sutra. Tiya Tha Gati Gati Parangati Parasamgati Bodhi Soha. So that is the quintessence of hidden meaning of Prajnaparamita. What does Teyatha mean? Teyatha means like this. This is how you practice emptiness. Teyatha, in Tibetan, Ditta Te. So Teyatha, like this. Then Gati, first Gati means what do I say? Understand, or realize it, understand it. And then second, Gate, again, same meaning, understand it, know it. Then third is beyond, understand, beyond. Tiyatang gati, parangati, para like, Prajnaparamita, beyond understanding. And then fourth, tiyatang gati, parangati, parasangati means excellent, like understanding or knowing. Sorry, I have to redo it. Sangche means not understanding, like go beyond. Okay, so I'm making a mistake. I have no, I'm not shy about having ignorance, So it means the first, Angati means go. Second is also go. And third means go beyond. So I said understand. So that's my mistake. Then the next is go, excellent way. Go excellent way. Ngate, parasangate, parasangate, parasangate. Bodhi. So bodhi means awakening. So the reason why this mantra is basically describing about the ornament of Parajnaparamita that was composed by Matya Buddha. They are like Chamchu De Nga. They are 5 different sutras, or sometimes they say, came together with the Asanga. Composed by Matya Buddha, Chamchu Denga, the Buddha Matya Buddhas, the 5 different commentaries. All of this describe about hidden meaning of Prajnaparamita. And so in this mantra, basically hides the meaning of the 5 bhumins, 5 paths. So the first, Tiyata, as I mentioned before, means this is how you practice. The Sangche, the first Tiyata, Gati Sangche means go. That is represents the first path of accumulation. And then second, Gati is represents the path of juncture, part of application, the second path. And then the third says beyond, go beyond, because why that is the that go beyond represents the path of first bhummin of bodhisattva level. So when we say go beyond, because the first path and the second path is not beyond worldly. It is like some partial realization, but it's not beyond worldly things. Therefore, when you achieve the first Bunmi of Bodhisattva level, then it's called beyond worldly things. So that is the first Bunmi of Bodhisattva, the path of seeing. So let's take an example. Let's take let's give a knowledge. It's like sunrise or moonrise. And before we call dawn, and when sunrise, and there's some light comes in. It's not sun's rays, but there's some, you can walk, you can see. It's still light, but it's not really you see the actual sun. And then it becomes brighter right before the sunrise, and then it's much brighter. So that is the first path of accumulation, the second path of juncture. But it's not sun. It's not actual realization. It is a partial realization. It's actually more profound than experience. When we talk about experience, when we meditate, I'm not much meditator, but when we meditate and we have all these different experiences, sometimes we have wonderful meditation, and you feel like, oh, you even talk about on Facebook or social media how good your meditation was. I felt I was so calm. But it, then maybe like that, maybe, you already described about your happiness, the joy you had in that morning, and maybe the afternoon or evening, like you may struggle, maybe fight with somebody, argue with somebody. So your calmness and your peacefulness was very temporary. It was more like aspects of emotion rather than actual realization. So that's why it is not beyond worldly, and so but it's better than worldly emotions. And the second part of juncture, it's more profound than that. You may have some stability, but it is not like always same level. And maybe some meditators, and when they meditate and they are able to experience meditation and emptiness or such, and then that lasts long term, and they are able to aware, even like post meditation, when you go around or doing shopping or such, and you have a little awareness. And as a lot of you follow great masters such as Mingyur Rinpoche, and once Mingyur Rinpoche mentioned that as a meditator, you shouldn't get lost. Don't try to get lost, which means person like myself pretty much lost whole day. So once you lost whole day without mindfulness, then there's no meditation experience other than experiencing samsaric confusion. And so that's why when you achieve first Bhumi of Bodhisattva level, means go beyond that experience. Experiences are like show, it's not the essence. And so you go beyond that, then you realize your nature of mind as achieve first Bhumi of Bodhisattva level. And that is Sutric tradition and Tantric tradition. Absolutely, if you have absolute devotion to your guru, and if the guru has the blessing and the lineage of their own guru and the masters, and then the Dharma is absolutely pure. So when your mind meets that blessing, and some people able to recognize their own nature of mind, relying on the guru, And there were stories that like great master Gambopa and Kaju lineage, that there are some of the students who were on the way to see Gambopa, and because they had such this intense, they have this very pure devotion, and before they reach to Gambopa's place, and they already have some recognition. It's simply because of their pure devotion. And so Vajrayana, sometimes, because we call Guru's blessing, sometimes we call short path or direct path. So then Gati Parangati means beyond, and then Parasamgati means go, excellence, more than beyond, it's not beyond, but beyond yet also excellent path. So that is the third, the fourth path, which is a path of non-meditation, non-meditation. And in tantric practice, and like those who are realize Mahamudra, and they are always been in that absolute presence of awareness, and there's no such thing like you only experience meditation when you are on a cushion, or when you only meditate when you are cave. No, there's no like 24 hours experience of meditation and remain in meditation. Then that is, there's nothing else to learn. That's why Gami means no meditation path or beyond meditation path. And then last, the awakening, that is the last path of no learning, the fourth is no meditation, nothing to meditate, and then the last is nothing to learn. So these 5 paths described in this mantra, Tiya Tha, Om Gati, Gati, Parangati, Parasangati, Bodhisattva. So this mantra, as I mentioned earlier, is the the summarization or abbreviation of the hidden Parajna Paramita. And when this particular Parajna Paramita practice or study mentioned by Matthias Buddha, and the ornament of Parajna Paramita, that's the one of the commentary, intensely, or descriptions, very, very detailed, but a little bit complicated. So what we have to understand from this description is that Lord Buddha taught the third wheel of Dharma in Vulture Peak. I did say park, peak, Jaggepumburo in India, and at the age of 36, when Buddha became enlightened. When Buddha became enlightened, and he taught the Prajna Paramita. And so Prajna Paramita, the word itself, Shirap Chiparudutsamba. Shirap means Prajna or knowledge, and then Paramita means beyond. So that means when you meditate as a meditator, and so when you meditate, whether it's shamatha meditation, it is very hard to distinguish between shamatha and vipassana. It is all about individual. It's not about like, oh, let's do shamatha meditation. When you start to do shamatha meditation, maybe you have like 8 different students, and maybe they have different mentality. And even though it's called shamatha meditation, maybe some of them able to go beyond shamatha meditation. So it's up to individuals. It's not about like Dharma itself. Like it's come up clearly mentioned many times that sometimes we say, oh, I'm a Mahamudra practitioner or Mahati practitioner or Vajrayana practitioner. And it's only said this is not decided by how many empowerment you received, how many mantras you have recited. It's all about how you experienced the meditation, right? If you are practicing deity and maybe you are not that well-known practitioner, however, because of your devotion, your pure samaya to your guru, and you maybe see yourself as a deity, everything around you as also a deity, and all the sound, mantra, and all the the chats in your mind, the all the stress manifest as wisdom. So you are already, great meditator. Oh, and also like sometimes people may sense that, people come to me and say, well, I saw Chinese, in my dream, I had a vision of such, he spoke this, I feel like I'm very realized, and how I feel like I have nothing else to learn. And what do? I said, well, you actually answered yourself. If you realize that much, you wouldn't think, what could I do? Because you are already omniscient, right? That question is answered by yourself. So, anyways, so that is the paramita and then emptiness. And now, how our lineage, such as Kagyu lineage, practice the emptiness. That is extremely important, and there are many different teachings of different masters. The unique about the commentaries is that even though the sutras stated very kind of vaguely, very, the words are very, very solid. It doesn't really have detailed description, but because the Nagarjuna and Asanga, all of these great masters compose commentary, and then there are so many realized masters within our own lineage. And as we all know, that the works of the great masters such as third Karmapa, Ramchand Doje, seventh Karmapa, Chuda Janso, so all of these great masters composed all these commentaries. And so the Prajna Paramita I described about the Buddha's second will of Dharma and the 16 volumes of Prajna Paramita text, and then the everything. And it is combined in our Kagyu lineage, combined with the Mantrayana tradition, and especially the quintessence of direct transmission from Guru's mind to disciples' mind, known as the Nimbo Tanji Jupa, means the essence, the ultimate lineage. That is also the emptiness itself. However, it become richer through this pith instruction. So known as Mahamudra. Mahamudra. Maha means pervasive, great. So this essence of wisdom pervade to all sentient beings without exception. Maha. Then Mudra is there's nothing that is not included in this vastness of wisdom. So what does that mean? As a practitioner, when we meditate and we struggle with, I'm taking myself as an example, struggle with emotions, but that emotion or that stress is pervaded with wisdom. So Mahamudra is captures every emotion. The emotion is not distinguished from the something like can be abandoned as a Mahamudra practitioner. And whatever stress, or even like people talk about depression, and those people really suffering from depression. But I do think that all of us have some degree of some kind of sadness that is obvious because of the development of this material. Therefore, especially the Mohammedan practitioner is so lucky to have this very degeneration and very emotional and so fast. Everything is just so fast. Everything is so, intense. But Mohammedan practitioners, for them, it's a good news because every emotion you experience, every stress you experience, never beyond Mahamudra. So that's extremely important. So that's why our Kaju lineage, that the Muhammadan teachings very important. And of course, as I mentioned earlier, each master describes very all kind of methods, and particularly from great yogi Milarepa, uh, talk about emptiness. In his songs, he says, "Tawa tombe yishi gamba wesan zmi chepa chami jinshi deva to me. So this is a Milarepa's description about emptiness. I have to drink to fill my empty stomach. So first, the view is how he describes about the view, the meditation, conduct, and affiliation. So he says, Tawa Tombe Yichien means the view is unity of emptiness and wisdom. So this is not just emptiness, but wisdom. And so emotions, so when we talk about these teachings, it is not just curriculum teachings that you follow. It has to deal with daily emotions, which means that whatever emotion you experience, always combined with unity of emptiness and wisdom. So there's nothing that is not included in Mahamudra. So if we mistakenly think that the wisdom can be earned after we subdue negative emotions, which can be a fatal mistake. So that's why, it is very rich. It is very great opportunity now that, our emotions so intense. There are so many sufferings going on. But for Mohammedan practitioner, Kagyu lineage, because we have 4 different Tibetan Buddhism, the Kagyu lineage, Nyingma lineage, Sakya lineage, and Gelugpa lineage. Each of them carries all this essence of teachings, especially the Kagyu lineage known as the transmission of practice, which means that it is not that important to go so in details about reasoning such and then it got lost. Rather, you read, receive a teaching, and directly, put into your practice. So Tawa Tombi Shin, Milarepa says, the view is emptiness combined or with wisdom. Tawa Tombi Shin. So that is the view. So that view has to never separate from the emotions we experience as a practitioner. Of course, if someone is not a practitioner, this is not be understood. But as a practitioner, and emotions shouldn't be complaint. Emotions can be captured with that beautiful unity of wisdom and emptiness. The Tawa Tongbe Xie. Then Gamba Wesan Zmiye, that the meditation definition is non-conceptual of clear light, which means whatever experience you experience shouldn't be attached or clinging onto it, fix it on it. Because that's why I was describing about when we meditate, Sometimes there's like, beautiful environment. Nobody bothers us, and we have a, very tasty coffee latte on your table, or some like snacks there. And your cushion is very comfortable, and nobody bothers you. Then you do practice. Oh, I feel so good. And you meditate, you feel so calm. And so you feel that you have wonderful meditation. But meditation is especially can be shine when they experience difficulties. Somebody criticizes about you, somebody constantly bothering us. And we often see that practitioners, I can be one of them, that when we meditate, we don't want to be disturbed. Even like this sign says, meditation in progress, not be disturbed. But as a practitioner, especially Kagyu lineage, Muhammadan practitioner, that is another mistake, because without testing, without understanding about the meditation, is not to be fixated, because it's nature of meditation. Without non-conceptual, that is clear light. Which means we shouldn't fix it on like sounds. We shouldn't fix it on somebody's words. So we should utilize them instead. Then Milarepa continues. Chepa Chami Jinshin means the conduct is without also attachment, which means the behavioral conduct. Oh, I go there and I'm so like this bad, or I go like this place, I like this that. Everything is just so liberated in its own natures. Wherever you are, that's the pure land. Wherever you stay, that is the whatever you eat becomes a very natural and so joyful. And so that's why I think when individuals, especially experience suffering, criticize, in the public or such, going through difficulties, and using these pit instructions in daily life, and can be very liberating. And then Milarepa lastly said that Jewa Jerry. I have to be honest, I don't recall exactly. Probably, it is stated Jerry means the resort is without delusion, it's the naked awareness, but I don't remember exactly. So all of this view and meditation and the conduct naturally relies your naked mind or the nature. And so I'm only saying this because our topic is emptiness. Emptiness is not to be understood something philosophical and so difficult. We always talk about the emptiness is related with our mind. That's extremely important. Of course, philosophically, then within Buddhism, there's Vaibhishka, it's a Jadanawa, the lower philosophical, one of the two main Hinayana schools of philosophy, school of Buddhist philosophy, based on the Abhidharma teachings, compiled in the, Mahavidasa. So it's Abhidharma teachings about skandhas, etc. And then that is one. Then the second is Sautrantika, which is a Hinayana school of philosophy, and the second of the four major Buddhist schools, known for its reliance on sutras rather than Abhidharma. So these two different, Hinayana teaching holders, or also particular Buddha, and they also have a partial understanding about emptiness. So all of these different schools, the first school basically talk about the eternal materials when they compose, when they, let's say, composed with the particles. The particles, they don't meet each other. They basically saying that the external things not exist. How, nevertheless, they believe that the small particle that are created, or let's say based on the and all the earth and everything kind of arise based on those small particles, they are truly exist. So they don't have a full emptiness understanding. And then Savatantika, same thing, they debate with the Vabishka or Chedantnava, and then their view is a little better. And they are talk about the selflessness. They understand a little bit of selflessness, but there's something subtle, thing, it's exist. And then, of course, the mind-only school, the third one is mind-only school, believes that mind-only school says that everything is in mind. Nothing exists. External materials never exist. They are essentially emptiness. And then internal, the mind, there's a subtle mind exists, truly exists. So that is the mind-only school. And that actually also kind of subdued by the fourth one, Madhyamika, says that there's nothing existing, there's no external, everything is emptiness, etc. And then I mentioned a little bit about the meditation part, like Milarepa's song. And then, so Milarepa passed the Mahamudra teachings to Gambopa. And basically in Gambopa particularly describes about the first part of the Mahamudra teaching is everything is emptiness. There's nothing, mind. There's nothing that is not other than mind, and that is very close to the mind-only school. But then the second, the Mahamudra methods, the mind itself is emptiness. First is Chutamji Semzui, merely a mind. Everything is a mind, but the mind nature is emptiness. Then emptiness is also spontaneous. Spontaneous means that it's not just emptiness, but yet it has the richness of wisdom. And wisdom's nature is liberated. So there are four different, everything is mind. Mind's nature is emptiness. Emptiness is, it's spontaneous of wisdom, and the wisdom itself in natural liberation. So that's how we meditate, for Mahamudra practitioners. So I think that kind of pretty much what I would like to describe, because my teachings, myself, of course, I did study the Chieda Dharma school 5 years, kind of completed, but I'm not that learned. Neither do I have experienced meditation, but I do think that if followers of our lineage, Kaju lineage, we have this richness of Kadampa tradition, the mind training, and the Mahamudra tradition. It's so profound. Then the Vajrayana. So we are so rich, but it looks like we're, including myself, kind of left left shore of the ocean, not able to really enjoy the ocean of wisdom, which means that we learn these meditation methods and we learn everything. We want to go on certain teachings online or such, but when it comes to experiential meditation, then it seems like pretty empty, and that is simply because I think lacking of confidence. Why I say that? Because if someone, through the blessing of lineage, blessing of your own guru, have some kind of recognition, some experience of Mahamudra or emptiness based on compassion and bodhicitta, then that person is always, whether he or she teaches or manifest whatever they say, they are able to benefit. And not only that, I remember once I asked my teacher, Kimber Rinpoche, okay, rewind. No. I restate it. A Dharma student asked Kimber Rinpoche, what is the definition of realization? And Kimber Rinpoche said, oh, of course, if we talk about realization, there's a lot of great master realized nature of mind, Mahamudra, and practice six Dhamma Sunarupa, mastered such. But also another kind of realization could also describe as someone have tremendous compassion, tremendous humbleness. The more you practice, the individuals become more humble and more compassionate, which is almost like I feel like describing Rinpoche himself, because that's what he manifested. He's extremely patient and such compassion and such humbleness. So that is another sign of whether we are a good meditator or not, because sometimes the more you learn about philosophy, the more you learn about Dharma, and if Dharma does not, let's say, mixing with your mind, if Dharma does not penetrate your mind, then I think it's very kind of risky, or it's quite obvious that a lot of us seem like have a lot of arrogance, which is so opposite of Dharma, because when you practice Dharma and you become selfless, you kind of able to place another person for you instead of yourself. So there's a constant compassion, constant careness. How can I benefit other sentient beings? Because you can see, as Ranzan Doji third karma mentioned, that when you have a realization of Mahamudra, naturally arise the unbearable compassion, and then you only care about other sentient beings. So in order to do that, I think this practical kind of issue, that is whether you teach, whether you practice, it is extremely important to meditate, few minutes before you have some sense of compassion, some sense of bodhicitta. Until that, I think we shouldn't chant, we shouldn't go ahead. And that's what I learned, because I'm a very emotional person, as you all know by now. I just sometimes like, let's do white Tara, and the one Agampandi, like, okay, my mind was gone. No bodhicitta, nothing. And I feel like, oh, what a waste of time. So now I just, out of no choice, and I don't want to, meditate or practice without clearly generated some kind of at least some sense of compassion. Other than some, sometimes we have a lot of anger or resentful, and then we practice, and then or it's mantras we can reset. I mean, that's very, very risky, because if practice combined with those negative emotions, and that is not a practice, that is totally opposite. And as Gambopa mentioned, you heard this from me many times. If you don't do Dharma according to Dharma, Dharma causes us to go to lower realms. So that's what happens. Okay, hold on. What am I talking about? because it's emptiness topic, not much to talk about, right? So that's all I have. And as I mentioned, I'm not knowledgeable about emptiness, and nor do I have any kind of firm conviction about this topics, because this is really first I kind of I thought, oh, it's cool, let's pick up the emptiness topic, because we had all these Lama meetings, and I was like, oh no, what did I do? But now I have no choice not to do something. So those are my, but it's, once again, I really hope that from this teaching, and I did my best, and that you have some sense, you are able to benefit, especially when you practice, especially what I mentioned about emotions and the Mahamudra definition. Mahamudra means pervasive wisdom, which is not a talk about this wisdom that's somewhere so hidden. Rather, it is every day, every moment, every thought. So that means even emotions, we shouldn't complain, because it combined with Mahamudra. All right, 9:15. We started at 8 o'clock, and so that's it. And thank you very much, everyone, for joining this teaching. And I know there will be our other lamas and join for question and session. You can ask those questions, and so I would like to once again thank to everybody, and Tashi and everybody helping, and let's dedicate the merit of today's session for the benefit of all sentient beings, especially may we able to realize the Mahamudra through meditation, and through understanding about emptiness. And do I see somebody? Let's chant. Start with long life prayer. Oh, jaga nyinje ronzo grama ba jaga tenle chid grama jaga donzo wanga grama ba ujen donde tenle jade so sananda ye tanje zeba nye dane nyebe dana bande Yega nanje balon droga ye zebe tolen doga nyado jo. Jambala ba jedra jemba da kande zambo de ande je. Yeda genje jize dala je gewa de da tamje rode Zonje go zon nibe jela da chuni manje dembe jela kende me dembe jela je jedra hoa melon dovra jo jele ja jave jela Dharma bade dembe jemba da chondra ganja anja jeme Thank you, everybody. See you next.
Thank you, Lama.